Hi, my name is Isabelle Carlens. I'm a psychologist and I'm going to recite a paper from Mohsen Paul Sarfarazi, PhD. I'm going to share my screen so you can follow what I'm going to read. I'm going to read the Guardian founders, the co-creators of our Nebadon universe. I'm going to read the abstract. An overview of the Guardian founders of our Nebadon universe, together with its holographic structure, has been presented. It is explicated that consistent with all universal systems, the co-creation of the Nebadon universe is governed by a Trinity wave structure and an open-loop free energetic system that herein is composed of higher order crystals angelic aura-film light beings referred to as the Emerald Order, the Amethyst Order, and the Gold Order, which are respectively comprised of the Elohai, the Seraph, and Ra Confederacy. These together give rise to a threefold founder flame composed of the magenta, violet, the blue, and the gold rays that together form the Trinity ray aspect of our universe. This threefold founder flame gives rise to the advent of a holographic structure composed of 4 harmonic universes with a ray system with their own distinct triads of sound frequency and light quotients or colors. And the Guardian founders of our universe, also referred to the Rishi sons, reside just outside the universal time matrix and the energetic system of the Nebadon universe that is referred to as the 5th harmonic universe composed of D13 until D15. Furthermore, each harmonic universe represents a tri-union of universes composed of particle world of matter, antiparticle world, and antimatter, and the in-between world composed of both matter and antimatter that epitomize a neutral world of the 0 point energetic that represents the neural network of the God or the unity consciousness of the Godhead. The introduction. The terms guardians or founders may refer to a number of different groups having the same or similar objectives. For example, the term founders can refer to a group of light beings who possess an extremely high vibration frequency light quotients of a consciousness who are responsible for creating or seeding an entire new universe or a species or group of species to founding a new group such as council dedicated to a cause or movement, etc. By the vernacular of founders, we are primarily referring herein to entities who have created and or seeded our Nebadon universe as well as the human form. As for the terms guardians, it may refer to the same individuals that are dedicated to uphold and preserve a certain doctrine or belief or principles, or to a group who are the keepers, watchers, and preservers or something akin to proper maintenance of a stargate, a grid, etc. Ensuring that it's kept out of the outside influences of harm by others. Through the use of the term guardians herein, we are primarily referring to those who are dedicated in preserving and upholding the provisions of the law of one to ensure the right of sovereignty and free will of all solar sentient organic consciousness beings, as well as providing support and safeguarding them to be able to expand their consciousness, to evolve, transmigrate to higher planes of the consciousness, referred to ascension. According to a plan pertaining to the 12D grid, or the natural organic tree of life, by hosting the time matrix of the Nebadon universe. As such, the Guardian founders of the Nebadon universe, also referred to as the Guardian host, ultimately responsible for the ascension of all sentient beings that in particular include the angelic humans who play the most important role in assuring the longevity and the survival of the Nebadon universe at large. The God source and the conscious cosmos. At the the center of all there is, thereafter referred to the cosmos, there exists the most incredible, magnificent reservoir fountain of the perfectly crystalline, coherent, intelligible energy referred to as the consciousness that we identify as God Source. The God Source epitomizes the fundamental or incipient fountain of energy that supports and supplies the entire all there is that is identified as organic with an infinitive loop of the consciousness energy. As the God Source is the ultimate, omnipotent and omniscient, omnipresent, fully self-aware conscious entity and being of singular nature, initially occupying a single point and being impervious to spatially or temporarily, he, she, it explodes and implodes upon itself as to create the cosmos as its body of existence. And in order to accomplish the task of creation, being originally of total neutrality, some of its quanta and energy split into expansive electric male and contractive magnetic female, constitute parts to form a trinity aspect of itself. In this respect, via a sequential expansive contracting action through which its electric quanta of energy could expand and its magnetic quanta of energy could contract. It undergoes an exhalation, breathing out, inhalation, breathing in process that we refer as organic life. Alternatively, it may be surmised that the God Source epitomizes the heart brain of the cosmos as its body of existence undergoing a beating or animating process that again optimizes organic life. In all, the action of electric expansion of its quanta of energy facilitates the dissemination of its energy throughout the cosmos, while the process of magnetic contraction ensures that all its quanta of energy returns back to the source. This describes the commonly perceived law of conservation of energy, which may alternatively states as what we expand away from source must inevitably contract back and return to source. This forms the underlying scheme in which creation proceeds or is governed by, which is referred to as the dualism principle of creation. Alternatively, it may be stated that consistent with the very principle of the trinity and formation of dual and conjugate electric magnetic quanta of energy form its incipient neutral status, the dualism principle of creation asserts that everything must be created as the conjugate pair. This will ensure that the overall system remains in a state of balance as well as recoverability. Note that the energetic state of the God Source stems from its initial kinetics, with its quanta of energy eternally spinning isotropically about itself, pulsating or vibrating between the forward-backward eternity that is referred to as the now moment. Thus, initially, the God Source is impervious to temporality, yet as it implodes about itself as to spearhead the process of creation. This gives rise to the dawn of time that, according to the dualism principle of creation, is a bidirectional nature. From there on, its quanta of energy perpetually vibrates in a time undergoing a sequential expansion contraction or spinning backward forward, which is referred to as a torsional vibration, which defines and perpetuates the very concept of the organic and the action of the animation, pulsation, or exhalation, inhalation. Note also that the velocity of spin of the fundamental quanta of energy is referred to as frequency, defining consciousness as a wave that propagates back and forth in time in a quantum manner. And further note that the frequency of vibration defining the state of consciousness or sensation of rate of propagation of time diminishes, and the quanta of energy get disseminated into what is referred to as space. This is what is referred to as energetic or etheric congealment that defines the very concept of constitution. In this respect, a portion of the incipient consciousness quanta of energy converts into a constitutive counterpart that fills the fabric of space. Furthermore, the very nature of vibrational concepts asserts that the congealment of the incipient pure consciousness quanta of energy into the constitutive quanta in a discrete manner forms a series of nested contours of energy with the cosmos that are referred to as space-time dimensions. In this regard, the author of illustrated that a maximum of 356 such main space-time dimensions are formed, with each optimizing a realm specific to a certain unique consciousness state. Accordingly, the consciousness quanta of energy anchored themselves to such discrete dimensions of the consciousness sequentially vibrating in time that describes the very phenomenon of quantum consciousness. In this respect, the halfway length of the torsional vibrations defining the wave of the consciousness are found to be closely commensurate with the Planck's consistent of 10 to the power of -43 earthly seconds. Furthermore, it may be deduced that by virtue of the dualism principle of the creation and its consequent bidirectional nature of time, each discrete contour of energy is associated with a set of conjugate space-time mirroring one another with respect to time. In this respect, space is defined by the spherical surface, contour of energy or such dimension, and the concept of time defines the curvature, inverse of the spherical radius about the central source, of the space-time dimension. Thus, a sentient being, as the offspring of the God source, anchors its consciousness to the particular dimension, sequentially vibrating between the two conjugate space-times of the quantum manner. Note also that the fabrics of the two conjugate mirrors of mirrored space-times rotate in an opposition to one another about the source defining the concept of matter and antimatter. Thus, a sentient being sequentially undergoes quantum consciousness vibrations between the worlds of matter and antimatter that, in essence, epitomize two mutually anti-parallel worlds. The sun bodies. Every world of existence that can support life such as our Nebadon universe, its creation is facilitated by a series of offspring of the central God source, light beings of extremely high light quotients. In physicality, such entities often take the form of suns or planetary bodies that actually anchor their light of consciousness in a domain often just above the set universal system. Accordingly, the light of these sun bodies cause the creation of those universal systems, and under the auspices of their light of consciousness, the life system of such universal bodies that includes the conglomerate set of its living solar organic consciousness beings and their longevity is maintained. Such a system also exists with regard to the Nebadon universe that is comprised of the so-called Rishi suns, who reside in dimensions 13 until 15, and just outside the universal timeline matrix of Nebadon. In this respect, being indigenous of the realm that is just outside the space-time matrix of the Nebadon universe, it is considered as to have a pure energetic form existing above the level of form matter and antimatter associated with a particular lower density of constitution. However, there exist 7 particular ascending levels of consciousness with a characteristic of gradually having lower discrete levels of constitutional spectral density, which are commonly referred as the 7 higher heavens. In this respect, the Nebadon universe resides at the bottom of such a group of physical systems with the lowest level of consciousness as may be measured by the light quotient, frequency of vibration, and propinquity, as well as the highest density of constitution. And what transpires is that these universal systems are governed by totally distinct physical and alchemical laws that entail distinctly different forms of fundamental chemical elements. This concept is akin to a full spectrum of all frequencies and light quotients of consciousness being arranged in a discrete, ordered, and graduated structure, each comprised of a series of dimensional space-times that have their own unique characteristics, threats, and being governed by their own high level of physical and alchemical laws that are referred to as the 7 higher heavens. The Nebadon universe and the 7 higher heavens. The name Nebadon was given to creation of the comparatively new universe residing at the edge of the cosmos. This is a constituent part of the all-physical universal system referred to as the 7 super-universes or 7 higher heavens. It is a part of the inhabited super-universe or of Orvonton that is located at the outermost edge of all super-universes. Furthermore, Nebadon exists at the outermost edge of the Orvonton super-universe. These 7 super-universes consist of the physical system of the universes in which the quanta of energy forming their fabrics of space-time congeal to extent that they form particles of matter and antiparticles of antimatter. Yet each of its own constitutive structure governed by their own alchemical and physical laws. Altogether, they form the 9th square is 81 outermost space-time dimensions out of the total of 356 possible main cosmological discrete dimensions, with the addition of another 3 innermost dimensions, among all forming the holographic harmonic universe for a total of 84 discrete non-fractal cosmological dimensions within the nested spherical edifice of the cosmos. And these 84 dimensions that are all arranged as a set of 3 discrete dimensions form the basis of the structural arrangement of a set of 7 super-universes composed of 4 harmonic universes, each giving rise to 7 times 12 is 84 outermost dimensions of the cosmos, or 21 harmonic universes. So, the Nebadon universe, being composed of 4 harmonic universes, each comprised of a holographic set of 3 dimensions, is formed by a 12D grid system or a tree of life that describes its inhabited domain or physical existence. The co-creation and the Nebadon universe. The Nebadon universe was formed and seeded by a group of individual consciousness beings of a very high frequency light quotient referred to as the Christos beings. Christos beings are crystalline consciousness light beings with the sound tone of Karaya Satala or crystal, alternatively referred to as Crystala, or Christ beings from the 7 higher heavens with the designation of sound and light making up the holographic aspect of the solar organic consciousness. These angelic Christos beings are known as the Oraphim. These Oraphim originate from the 7 higher heavens. At the lowest level, a Christos being is composed of a 12 fully assembled and activated crystalline silicate-based DNA strand structure that is also referred to as the diamond sun DNA structure. These Oraphim have often completed their education alignment with the first level of the 7 higher heavens at least once. Accordingly, they are also referred to as the Ascended Masters. The next level of Oraphim beings are composed of light beings who have an additionally 12 DNA strands fully assembled and often function with the 24 until 36 DNA strands fully activated, who are referred to as having a double diamond sun DNA structure. And as we have heard of being exposed to or interfaced with another group of Araphim who are referred to having the emerald sun DNA structure, who function with fully assembled and activated 48 crystalline DNA strands. And it goes to say, one may perceive of higher order crystals or Araphim angelic beings with as much as their full 84 crystalline DNA strands assembled and activated, residing within the much lower constitutive density plane of the consciousness of the seventh highest heaven. An aforementioned crystals Araphim angelics with the 12 until the 48 fully activated crystalline DNA strands form the Master Crystals Collective. These are architects and builders from the higher heavens who function in the capacity of founders, often seeding new universes, turning them into inhabit worlds. The Master Crystals Collective beings are the devout advocates of the cosmic sovereign law of one that defines the law of God, who have sworn to protect and preserve its doctrine and conduct and belief system in order to ensure that divine order is observed and carried out throughout the proverbial land, thus making the law of one as the law of the land, wherever that may be. And the law of the one counsels all beings to recognize, decipher, and subscribe to the principle of the interconnectedness through the God source that forms the basis of the unity consciousness and implies revering stellar organic consciousness of life. Furthermore, it asserts showing utter respect for the right of free will and sovereignty, and all other beings, and entirely abstain from violating the mandate of non-interference with respect to sabotaging or preventing the consciousness, expansion, and evolution of the all-solar organic consciousness beings. Note that the God source is not non-judgmental and describes being the epitome of love, kindness, compassion, and empathy, having ordained utter consciousness freedom for all, subject to the law of karma that functions as a fail-safe mechanism within the cosmos, ensuring cosmic order. Accordingly, the main provisions of the law of one are having compassion, empathy, unconditional love for all sentient beings, regarding them as your siblings, and having commitment for service to others. And in light of all the gifts that our God source and has bestowed upon all solar organic consciousness beings as the prime creator, the God source only makes one demand from its offspring, that's to strive to expand their consciousness and evolve as to be able to discover more marvels of the consciousness and existence. That is for every being to be able to evolve through expanding their consciousness and ascend, as well as being able to live as a sovereign and free being. And with this mandate of striving to acquire one's own consciousnness expansion comes the assertion to help others do the same, but only with their consent and disclosure, and only when solicited, as to not infringe on their principle of non-interference. Accordingly, the founders are also guardians of the law of one, that are collectively referred as the guardian founders of the universe. These Christus Oraphim angelic guardian founders have the capability of readily interfacing with the neural network and the divine mind of the prime creator. Thus, they are energetic form of various constitutive as well as frequency orders, capable of shape-shifting to any desired form and transmigrating to and fro all dimensional levels of the seven higher heavens that also refer to as the cosmic physical citizens. Note that at least constitutive density at the highest frequency light quotient level and angelic being may be composed of the higher super-universal level one can belong to and travel to and fro. Within the domains of the lowest four super-universes or heavens that we are privy to at most interface with this particular time, where our three orders of beings that make up the Trinity structure of functioning as light beings. The Trinity aspect of the God source. Consciousness emanates from the Trinity aspect of the God source that epitomize, yeah, it's a really hard word for me as being from Belgium, epitomizes the Godhead or the Prime Creator. This is disseminated in the form of a tri-wave system that form our tri-wave consciousness. To better understand tri-wave consciousness, visualize three sources of the original primal sound frequencies as well as their light quotients that project rays of distinct colors. These together represent the holographic aspect of the universal creation. This is what is known as the threefold founder flame. The three flames are all one, yet represent distinct tones and light colors on their own. The three flames are as a singular unit, here we go again, epitomizes an energy matrix unit or tri-wave that encompasses potentials for all energetic polarities, either expansive electric male transmitter or contractive magnetic female receiver, as well as neutral or no polarity. In this respect, no polarity represents neutral charge or the 0 point. And the Godhead epitomizes, yes, we are acing the word, epitomizes that central point of all union, something that our planet is currently moving towards through the process of ascension to become in direct alignment with. However, ordinarily, consciousness vibration occurs within the worlds of matter and antimatter, in which the quanta of energy sequentially, torsionally oscillate via a spiraling action about the central point of the Godhead that is the neural 0 point energetic. The female and the male aspects of the Godhead are respectively referred to as the Holy Mother and the Holy Father. In this respect, the 0 point of the Godhead represents the Holy Son, that is the one Godhead referred to its Christos Sophia and its male plus female aspects, all rolled into one centralized aspect which describes the embodiment of the consciousness of the Godhead. Note that, however, the Mother is not the Father, nor the Father is the Mother, and neither is the Son. In fact, there is an energy matrix composed of the sound frequencies light colors that is in the form of the tri-wave tone tricolor light, which makes us a universal time matrix. And this energy matrix describes the core of the consciousness substance of the all that is interdimensional, as each imitable sound frequency light color describes the holographic aspect of the each unique dimension. Thus, the cosmic Trinity, and in turn universal Trinity, is represented by three emanations. For our universe, these include the Emerald Order, the Gold Order, and the Amethyst Order. The first emanation of the primal sound light field, which represents the first individuation of the God Source, is referred to as the Emerald Order. The second emanation of the primal sound light field, which represents the second individuation of the God Source, is called the Gold Order. And the third emanation of the primal sound light field, which represents the third individuation of the God Source, is known as the Amethyst Order. These three original primal order sound light fields make up the ray aspects of our entire universal creation in the universal time matrix. Collectively, this triad is referred to as the threefold founder flame that form a universal time matrix. The threefold founder flame gestalt of universal consciousness also represent the guardian founders of our Nebadon universe that is alternatively referred to as the guardian host. These three universal founder rays are the 13D blue ray mother arc, 14D golden ray son of Christos Sophia, and the 15D violet-magenta ray father arc. The guardian founders and their family are the Christos elders, angelic Oraphim, and are composed of the Holy Emerald Order of Elohei, the Gold Order Ra Confederacy, and the Amethyst Order of the Ancient Master Builders and Architects of the Ancient Builder Templates of the God Creator Code. These races are collectively stem from the Master Christus Collective that are the protectors and preservers of the Law of One, which is the path for any being to able to ascend, evolve their consciousness, and exist as God, sovereign and free. The Trinity source of Godhead represents a system of tri-wave consciousness. Guardian founders. The Guardian Founders, as a group of highly advanced crystal consciousness transdimensional light beings, created the 12D grid, or the universal tree of life, and the time matrix for our Nebadon universe. These are the individuals that who are the founders or co-creators of the Nebadon universe. The Guardian Founders are originally of the pedigree of the angelic Oraphim crystals beings from the higher heavens dimensions above the 12th. The Guardian Founders are Oraphim that at least carry the double diamond somebody that is comprised of the 24th until the 36th strands of DNA. When the Oraphim DNA potentially is activated, it allows for physical body immortality and ability for the consciousness body's full transmutation out of the dimensional time. There are also Emerald Order Oraphim who have Emerald Sun DNA, comprised of up to 48 strands of DNA. The Emerald Order Oraphim and the Double Diamond Oraphim, as well as the Diamond Sun Angelic Humans, are from the crystals lines. The Guardian Founders are also called the Ancient Master Builders, as they are capable to jumpstart and set up the whole new universe. In the context of our Nebadon universe, the Oraphim blueprint is a shapeshifter consciousness that has the ability to biologically transmute itself in and out of our 12 DNA universal dimensionalized time matrix. The Guardian Founders hold all the threefold founder flames or the Trinity waves, including the primal fields of the blue ray, gold ray, and the magenta violet ray that direct the spectrum of frequency of all the founder races of the crystal consciousness. These Oraphim are, therefore, full rainbow crystal matrix light beings. The male Oraphim form carries a strong electrical field and specializes in electrical field transmission. In contrast, the female Oraphim carries the magnetic field and specializes in the magnetic reception. Together, they have the greatest ability of any biological species to transmit and receive the threefold founder flame founder frequencies. This gives them the capability to structurally repair the universal blueprint bodies of all entities, all the way down to our highest density of constitution, D1 until D3. They are the keepers of the universal time matrix, and in this capacity, they have the creational purpose for the genetic repair of all beings within the Nebadon universe. The structure of the Nebadon universe. As a physical universe of a constituent's highest constitutional density realm and the conglomerate part of the 7 universes or the 7 higher heavens, the Nebadon universe is comprised of a universal time matrix. This universal time matrix runs a system composed of 12 discrete non-fractal dimensional spacetimes, each characterized by a unique sound frequency light quotient that is referred to as the 12D grid or tree of life that describes the ray of consciousness aspects of the universe. Consistent with the rest of the cosmos and indeed the 7 higher heavens, a system of 3 consecutive rays of light in terms of their discrete frequencies and colors form a triad system of waves that is constructively interfere with one another to give rise to the holographic domain referred as the harmonic universe. Therefore, there are 4 distinct holographic domains or the harmonic universes within the system of the Nebadon universe. These holographic harmonic universes designated as Harmonic Universe 4 to Harmonic Universe 1 are respectively arranged as domains with increasing constitutive densities from Harmonic Universe 4 to Harmonic Universe 1. At the same time, the curvature of the space-times associated with lower dimensions become progressively less and less, giving the illusion of a vaster space and slower moving time as one moves from higher to lower space-time dimensions. This indicates that the velocity of the quantum spin of the fundamental quanta of energies or frequency within each dimensional domain becomes progressively less and less respectively as one moves from the higher to the lower designated dimensions. This, in turn, signifies that as far as a sentient being is concerned, the notion of speed of progression of time becomes increasingly lower, and as one moves from the harmonic universe 4 to the harmonic universe of 1. Furthermore, to confirm with the dualism of creation that asserts everything and every consciousness event reality must be formed in a conjugate pair and consistent with what the author has introduced as conjugate mirrored spacetimes at each dimensional level, apart from a central neutral plane corresponding to each discrete space-time or contour of energy. There also exists the advent of two contrasting worlds, each of which being stealth to another. And these may be envisioned as being situated at each side of the aforementioned contoured curvature, one concave, either of physical, and one convex, inner or ethereal, with respect to one another and when viewed from the central zero-point plane. This is akin to looking at two sides of the same coin. With the spinning of the quanta of energy having the tendency to spiral outwards when spinning counterclockwise and having the proclivity to spiral inwards when spinning clockwise, as the quanta of energy congeal, these give rise to the worlds of matter and antimatter respectively. And these may alternatively refer to as respectively the particle and antiparticle worlds with the direction of time progression is reserved with respect to one another, forming the mirrored aspects of each space-time dimensions. Accordingly, each harmonic universe may be considered as a conglomerate set of tri-union of three universes that are referred to as the world of matter, the world of antimatter, and the neutral of the in-between world, where both matter and antimatter exist simultaneously together. Thus, for example, the Earth upon which we perceive to thrive is composed of a series of omni-Earths, some of which are the worlds of matter, particle worlds, and some are worlds of antimatter, antiparticle worlds. And what distinguishes one part from another is a change in the phase angle between that what emanates from the spinning of the quanta energy and the form of the fabric of space-times in each, relevant to the distinct rotational spinning of the quanta of energy of the consciousness within each domain, as well as the nature of the quantum spin of the particles, antiparticles that form the core manifestation body and its template in each domain. They are also referred to as parallel and anti-parallel worlds. The fifth harmonic universe. Note that strictly speaking, the similarly Nebadon universe is associated with the first 15 dimensions of the cosmos, yet dimensions D12 until D15 reside outside its universal matrix and what may be considered as the Nebadon spectrum of the matter-antimatter. More specifically, the threefold founder flame exists as the three layers of the Rishi matrix and the fifth harmonic universe D13 until D15. Note also that these collective consciousness bodies also exist on the planet Earth throughout the densities that are aspects of the future timelines, higher dimensions, and the light body of the planet Earth. The Earth consciousness body is directly interconnected in all harmonic universes to interface with the human consciousness, which is life form expression in all densities. In the fifth harmonic universe, there is also a dimensionalization into Nebadon physical matter forms. Therefore, there is no planetary body or human forms. In the fifth density, as the consciousness does not manifest into Nebadon physical matter, this area is called pre-matter. The three primal light and sound fields holds the ray expressions of Mother Orc, Father Orc, and Golden Ray, Son of Crystal Sophia, the Trinity of the Godhead form, from which all biological forms are created in all the harmonic universes. Getting connected back to the God worlds. Much work has been done by the Guardian founders to once again bring Earth back to the God's worlds. The tried communication stations in the planetary grid network has an opening access connected through the astral layers that can be entered through the Giza location. The portal access then moves to Sirius 60, Arcturus 70, Orion 80 galactic core, into Andromeda 9D, and then finally out of the system entirely. This is the meta-galactic layers aligned of the luminaries of the next universe, which are connected to our crystal star communication networks. This opening portal allows access to crystal star guardians from the next universe, the 7 higher heavens, and to the Trinity wave blueprints of the creation. As you can see, Dr. Mohsen Paul Sarfarazi implemented some of the little texts, quotes, and also figures. And you can, when you look at this text, you can go through them. And they are all explained in the text. So let me stop sharing. I want to thank you for listening. I hope it was a little bit, it was clear, because I'm from Belgium, and my main language is I speak Flemish. But I hope that the reading was good for you, and I also hope you understand a little bit more about the co-creations and the founders of the Nebadon universe. I will discuss this paper and recite it with Mohsen Paul, and I hope you can all learn from it, and you're all also excited like I am. Thank you very much. See you. Bye.